So, it's 2020 and times have definitely changed. And with that change, there are more lifestyle changes being made as far as home style goes, if that makes sense. So, like, more men are becoming more domesticated while the women are out in the workforce getting it. My question is, what is wrong with a man that stays home while the woman is out working? Does it actually matter? Does that make him less of a man? I mean, at the end of the day, what's more important? The way society sees things and deems things to be, or how you see it? I personally think to each his own. Like, whatever works for your household is what I say goes. Society says that men are supposed to be in the workforce and they're supposed to be the breadwinners and bring home the bacon or whatever the situation may be. But what if your household works better the opposite way? What if your household works better with the man being at home and the woman going out? What is wrong with that? If two people can agree that that is how things should go, then I personally don't see anything wrong with that. And I don't think a man should feel any less of a man or be made to feel less of a man if that indeed is what works for him. You know what I mean? I think society puts a lot of pressure on people that is not even actually needed. And then we follow along with that stuff just because. And it's like, no, it's 2020. Literally. It's like anything goes at this point. So what if the man, I mean, even if the man is not staying at home, what if he makes less money than the woman? Why does that have to be an issue? You know, I advocate for individuality and doing what you as an individual need to do for you. I am all for that. Never mind, you know, what society has to say. Society can lead you in the wrong direction. It can leave you unhappy. It can leave you lonely. It can leave you a lot of things if you actually listen to it. But why do that? Why not create your own happy place? You know, never mind what anybody has to say about that. You know, why not go all the way out? You know, and then men, you know, should be comfortable with staying at home if that's what they are, you know, more comfortable with doing. And that doesn't mean staying at home, being a bum, not doing anything. No, that's not at all what I mean. I mean, if you're at home and you are productive while you're at home, if you have the kids, if you're making sure the household is good, if you're making sure, you know, bills are paid or whatever the situation may be, it's whatever you and your spouse or you and your partner agree upon. What is wrong with it if it's the opposite of what everybody else says? Like, I personally would just like to know or hear from women on that standpoint. Like, I'm different. I'm very different, and I'm definitely not going along with what anybody else has to say about, you know, the way they view things and the way they feel like the household should be ran. I think that is one of the biggest problems that, you know, we have now. Everybody wants to run everybody else's situation. No, no, you do what's best for you. And I encourage that. I really do. And women, we shouldn't make men feel any type of way if that is what they desire to do. Like, we need to be more supportive of these things. Like, men support us if we have babies. They support us if we're going through, you know, postpartum depression after having babies. They support us on a lot of things, you know, in that aspect. And I think in return, we as women have to be a little bit more sensitive to that fact. Like, yes, men are men. However, you know, they're human as well. And I think that we can be a little harsh on our men sometimes when it comes to these type of situations. You know, talk about it. Figure out what works for you and do that. Like, literally, don't worry about anything else or anybody else. Do what is best for you. Like, period. Do what's best for you. You know, I believe that, you know, when you are with someone, you know, open communication is the best way, you know, to have a healthy relationship. You got to have that communication. You got to have that understanding. And let our men be men and women be women, And men, you shouldn't, berate your woman or make her feel any type of way if she does make more money. Encourage your queen to be the best queen that she can be. Don't discourage her. Don't talk down on her, if her career is taking her, someplace, and maybe she does make more. Maybe, I mean, whatever. But so what? That money is going into y'all's household. That money is going to you as a unit, as a family, as a whole. So why does it matter who it's coming from? At the end of the day, that same money is going to keep a roof over your head. It's going to keep lights, water, gas, car, whatever it is. That same money that you talk about and make somebody feel bad about is the same money that will take care of you. It will allow you to live a certain type of life and rather appreciate that. It gets frowned upon, and I think that's something that needs to be, done away with. I think that's kind of like, it may have worked back in the 50s, 40s, or whatever, but not now. And I don't knock it for how it worked back then, because it was done that way back then for a reason, and it worked back then. But here we are in 2020, and it doesn't always work the way that we saw it work with our ancestors or with our grandparents or great grandparents or whatever. Clearly, because those people stuck together. They knew what it meant to, be by one another's side and not get divorced, and, take care, raise all these kids, and, do what they have to do, even if it's hard. Like, there's no, leaving because time get hard, or you walking away. There's none of that. So that's something that can be, used now. But like I said, everything that worked back then does not work now. I applaud it because it did work back then. And it helped rear a lot of people, a lot of generations to this day. I can appreciate it to a certain extent, how it, gave me a viewpoint on life and how things were done around me when I was growing up. I can appreciate it. But I also knew growing up that, that may not work for me. I don't want to be boxed in when it comes to relationship, when it comes to happiness, when it comes to being with a partner, when it comes to lifelong commitment, somebody that you want to go through the good and the bad with. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I think, as a whole, like I said, I don't see anything wrong with it. I know, for sure times have changed. That is a fact. And I'm with the changes. I'm with the, doing things differently. I'm with whatever is going to actually work. Life is so short, and we spend it sometimes, worried and on petty stuff, like, fussing over things that don't even matter, like who makes more money. At the end of the day, the bills have to be paid. So why does that even matter? You miss out on a lot of things because society puts all these, labels and titles on stuff, then we feel like we have to abide by that. But it's not law. It's man-made stuff. And that stuff affects us as people, and we shouldn't allow it. Like, we shouldn't allow society to box us in, because of what they say. Maybe that's what this should have been about. Not being boxed in, like stepping outside of the box to make sure that you are straight, to make sure that everything that you need, that you're able to get it. Everything that you have to do, you're able to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I just really, 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 really believe that we have to reach outside of the box. Being inside that box is too confining. There's not enough room in the box, for everybody in the whole world. So, like, why not branch out, do your own thing? There's nothing wrong with doing things differently. And half the time we follow behind these rules and traditions and what people say, and we don't even know where they originated from. We don't know why we don't even know why they even came about to begin with, but we follow along with it because it's always been done that way, or this is what society says. Well, it worked for, this person and that person. Well, who cares? What about what works for you and yours? What about doing what's best for you and yours? Like, it's just it's so much out in the world. Like, I just can't see why we have to be confined or limited on so many avenues. And I think that's one thing that I am definitely learning in my adult years, that I don't have to be boxed in. I don't have to do it the way that society says do it. I can do it my way, and it can work for me, and I can be happy in that, and I'm satisfied in that, and I don't care what society says or how anyone may view it. It doesn't matter, and at the end of the day, it's not anybody else's business. But what I want to put out there is that men you be strong enough to be a stay at home or be more domesticated if that's what you need to be, while still keeping your manhood. I'm not saying that being home you have to, become some pussy or a punk or whatever or what have you. No, you can still be that man, but being that man, you just be comfortable enough in your skin in what you and your partner have decided or what works best for you. You know what I mean? On the flip side of that, don't belittle your woman if she makes more money or whatever the situation. Let's not do that. Why not build each other up? I want my spouse to be the best them they could be. I want you to go all the way to the top, and I'm not gonna stand in the way of you, being famous, getting that Grammy, writing that best book, being that best entrepreneur you can be, car dealership, car owner, if you want to go out and adopt. I mean, I'm all for it. I'm not for stopping somebody from doing what is for them to do at the end of the day, because I don't want anybody to stop me or discourage me from being the best me that I can be. So we should all just work together and encourage each other to be the best that we can be, and not be confounded in these boxes that society try to put out there. We don't have to grasp that stuff. We don't have to go that route. We don't have to do anything that society says. We just don't have to. It's a choice, and I guess that's the best thing about being an adult. You get to make choices, and your choices should be what's best for you, and not what somebody else has to say about your choices, because the choices you make are clearly going to be the choices that you feel is better for you, or going to make you happy and make you a productive citizen of society. So that's what you have to do, then that's just what you have to do what you have to do. I want to see, I'm all about families and being together, and the unit of being, one, and holding each other up, building with each other, even when it's not as great. When your foundation gets a little rocky, still holding it together. Like, it's rough right now, but we gonna get through this, and we gonna get through it together. It don't look good, it don't feel good, and all this other stuff. Is like the world is crumbling around you, but to know that you got somebody that's gonna stand by you and support you, regardless of how the tables may turn or what the situation may be, but still hold it together and keep that unity, keep your foundation, and do what's best for one another. Keep, each other's best interest at heart. Don't be selfish in the situation. Do your best to stay positive and build each other up. And I just think that's a good recipe for a healthy relationship. Open communication, all that good stuff. You know what it is. But like I said, I just want our people to, not even our people, just people in general, do what is best for you and your household. It's not even a color thing. Do what's best for you and yours. It doesn't matter who you are. It's all about doing what's best for you at the end of the day. I can't stress that point enough. What's best for you. And then I want to know, even still, how do you feel about men not being, out in the workforce, but being at home? I don't see anything wrong with it. I actually love a man that takes the time out to be with his kids, to spend time with his kids, to teach his kids, all that good stuff. Like, I respect it on a whole other level. So I respect it so much to the point of, if my man say, he wants to stay at home and this is what he wants to do, and then we have a plan that's gonna keep us afloat and we gonna be okay, then I'm all for it. Whatever's gonna help you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I'm that supporter. It's whatever you want, whatever you need, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure that you got it. Because I'm just that way, Never mind how society may frown upon that and say, well, he needs to be working and you shouldn't have to. No. Because I can work just like he can work. But yeah, let me know what you think about that, though, ladies. How do you feel about a man that, feels like his place is at home versus being out in the workforce? Maybe it's a medical thing, maybe he has anxiety or whatever it is. You just literally never know. But how do you feel about that? Are you willing to tough it out with a man that would rather stay at home? Is that a turn off? Is that something you're not willing to deal with? Let me know. I personally see nothing wrong with it. I'm all about, that unit of a family and doing what you have to do regardless of the situation. I'm all for it. So if he say he want to stay home and I go work, I'm going to work. He going to stay at home. And that's just what it's going to be. Not without any stipulations, of course, and without some good, strong communication about the situation. But I'm all for it. But let me know what you think.